All right, thank you, everybody. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Call the meeting to order. All right. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. So I don't see Tim here. I don't know if I didn't hear he wasn't going to be here, but that would be the one open seat, I guess, until he gets here. We need to seat somebody.
Joe, this is Dave. I'll make a motion that we seat Peter for Tim turn.
All right, thank you.
This is Mark. I second that motion.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right, anyone opposed? All right, great. Thank you. Next item, approval of the minutes. So we'll just do them one by one. February 16th will be the first one.
I'll move we approve them as submitted, Wayne.
Great, thank you.
This is Mark Otterberg. I second that motion.
All right, any further discussion on February 16th minutes? Okay, anyone opposed to approving the minutes for February 16th? All right, motion passes. February 23rd, 2021 minutes.
This is Mark Otterberg. I'd like to make a motion to approve the February 23rd minutes.
Wayne, I'll second it.
Great, thank you. Any other discussion? Anyone opposed to approving the February 23rd, 2021 minutes? All right, great, thank you. Motion passes. March 1, 2021 minutes.
Joe, this is Dave. I'll make a motion that we approve the March 1st minutes as written.
All right, thank you.
This is Wayne, I'll second it.
Any other discussion? Anyone opposed to approving the March 1, 2021 minutes? All right. Seeing none, motion passes. Thank you. Public communications. I don't have any specific communications. I think I did receive a letter from the library related to the capital request, but that we'll be discussing that at a future date. Finance Director's report. Okay, I guess the first item that I'll just mention is I think I wrote, did we tell everyone that we did hire a finance director? I don't remember. Okay. So we have hired a finance director. They start, I think, April 5th. Okay. So hopefully this is my last report for a while on this. So that's good news. That'll help out, and it's somebody who has experience in a bigger community. So hopefully they can. I'm certain they can help us with a lot of things and to kind of help manage the process and a lot of the things that we have going on, and including the budget process and a lot of the projects and that type of thing. So I think it was a big win for the town to get this individual. So secondly, related to the reports, the tax our tax collection percentage is tracking pretty well. We're at 97.5% as compared to 98.2 in the past. It's about 0.7% difference. So nothing significant, and that certainly could level out. Part of the percentage difference is we've actually collected more in cash. It's just a change in the tax rate than we did the prior year. So that luckily hasn't had any significant impact on our finances. All right. As far as the expenditure report, there isn't too much that is different as far as over expenditures. I think, you know, salary. Transfer.
We're gonna try and maximize outdoor space at the Lincoln campus, so we're gonna put in an outdoor bar.
Percentages we're looking at.
But not just any bar.
What is that?
That's our boat bar.
The boat bar?
Mark, can you mute? Thank you.
So I think the only other account that I noticed, so we look at page 5, the 40,000 salary contingency hasn't been allocated. I will get the finance department an entry to allocate that, and that's part of the reason where we're seeing a 4% increase. Also, is because we were comparing against a budget number that was taken from this budget, and those then adjusted. So, and then in addition, I'm looking, we're working on analysis of the salary, so we have a little bit more clarity as far as the backup and what it's made up of and which people. So that hopefully we'll have that. I don't know when the next meeting is. I won't say the next meeting, but shortly. So one of the other accounts that is over is in social services. The assistant seasonal salaries is over by $900. That's going to need a transfer. So we will take a look at that and project that out. But just additional time, and Bob, you can jump in, I guess, needed due to the COVID and additional needs in that area. So I know the budget's higher for 22, so I think it's something that's been recognized.
Yeah, Joe, this is Bob. That's absolutely right. It was additional time required for COVID, for signing people up for vaccinations and other work before that. But Joe, we lost you shortly after you said you were looking at the expense report, and then you didn't get back on clearly until you started talking about the salary contingency line.
Oh, okay. All right, so what happened there? Oh, lost my video too. All right. All right, so what I was talking about related to the salary contingency was that those amounts were not transferred to all the individual salary lines. So if we look at the budget, we still see the 40,000 there. Normally there'd be a transfer to the salary lines because we would expect salaries to be higher because they weren't changed. So that to finance and get that corrected. That also has an impact related to the we're looking at salaries compared to what is in the budget document. That's really not the 2021 salaries, it's really the 2020. So it was throwing off some of that math. So we're working on just an analysis that kind of gives us a little bit more detailed backup related to salaries, and it will address, you know, why those percentages didn't look right. There were a couple that have specific reasons, but I think most of that will be eliminated when we look at this analysis, and then we will circle back to those budgets that we approved and adjust them for what would be the changes in the salary lines. Other than that, nothing else jumped out at me in reviewing the budget report. I don't know if anyone has.
Joe, this is Dave. I just have a question on long-term debt. How do we pay off the long-term debt? I see we've made interest payments on the 2 bonds, but we haven't made any principal payments. Don't we make principal payments along with the interest?
The way bonds are normally done, there's 2 interest payments and 1 principal. So we make the interest would be first normally, and then the principal would be later in the year. So depending on when we issued the bonds, and it doesn't say which month, I have to look at the schedule, but it's paid on the anniversary. So if we issued the bonds in June, then the next principal payment will be in June, and whatever other issues there. So I can look at what that is, but that's the reason is you pay interest every 6 months and principal annually.
Okay, that explains it. Thank you. One of them says 5/15/17, so that'll probably come up in May 15th.
Yes.
The 2020 bond issue is probably the same time frame.
Yep, that was done right at June. That was done in June. So yes.
Okay,
so
so
that's the reason.
we'll be spending that money this year. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions or comments or on?
Did we lose you, Joe?
I think we lost Joe. Next up is the Selectments Report. Bob, did you want to go ahead with Joe being offline and do the Selectmen?
Sure. Unfortunately, I don't have much to emphasize until Joe gets back. The really minor of note, I'm sure you're aware, the American Rescue Plan passed Congress and was signed into law. We're entitled to basically getting 2 pots of money from that. And according to analysis by CCM, we're entitled to $808,900 and some odd dollars based on population size. That money will be transferred to the state of Connecticut in 2 different batches. One within 60 days of the passage of the bill, supposedly. The other one later on, a year or so later on. We're also, as you know, most states have counties and county governments. We're given funding under this as well. Connecticut and New England, some of the New England states don't have a functional county government. So what was written into the bill is the county funds will be divided among municipalities within the county based on population. If I did my math right today, that's about $1.2 million for us. Or excuse me, it total, yeah, 1.6 million. We total out over 2 million if I don't have my figures in front of me, but a heck of a pot of money. They're still working on the details on what we can spend it on. Definitely already some of it could be put toward the community septic, because sewer projects are mentioned, water project are mentioned, broadband projects are mentioned, and then it gets fuzzy when it talks about economic recovery as far as those projects. So details are being developed, but the bottom line is when all is said and done, there's be a considerable pot of money coming. We're not supposed to hold it or siphon any of it off. And it may present us some very good opportunities. We'll just see what we can obligate it toward when they finalize the rules.
Okay,
That's all I had, Joe.
all right. Can everyone hear me? Am I back or? Okay. All right, tried something different, didn't work, won't do that again. All right, old business. If we have any, anything left over from previous meetings that we can address? All right. Any new business before we jump into budget?
This is Dave. I just wanted to welcome Mark Lundgren back to the board as an alternate.
Yes, yes, welcome, Mark.
Thank you very much, and I'm very happy to be here.
Great, great, all right. All right, so for the budget we do have a few other departments that we can talk about tonight. I forgot to check with Bob earlier, so I'm just gonna ask. I was looking at what was tabled, and the conservation activity was tabled. I wasn't sure if you had a chance to get additional information, I guess, on what the conservation activities, $1,000 was for, or we're still working on that.
This is Bob. Conservation activities are budgeted for the Conservation Commission. They haven't requested any of their funding this year, but that's what that $1,000 is.
Okay. Yeah, I think the question is because I think they spent only $75 last year, and so I guess with that information, is that I think we can approve that budget or discuss the budget. We can have a motion to consider it.
Yeah, this is Dave. Yeah, it's only $1,000. I would make a motion to go ahead and approve 130 conservation for a total of $2,000.
This is Wayne. I'll second it.
Thank you. Any additional discussion? All right, anyone opposed to approving the conservation activity budget at $2,000? All right. Seeing none, motion passes. The conservation activity budget is approved for $2,000. Okay. So I think contingency is available to approve, but I think we usually kind of wait to the end to do that one. So I think we'll skip that one again for now. I think the next budget that's available approves police. And I'm not sure what information everybody has. So Joanne, did you send anything out as far as, or I can read the numbers, but I don't know if anyone has this in front of them or not.
I could pull it up and share my screen if you'd like.
Okay, why don't you do that?
Okay.
So while she's doing that, so the budget request of information that finally came in is for $380,125. So that is an increase of $22,511, all in, I'm assuming is the salary line.
Joe, this is Bob. It's their basic costs. It's salary, it's vehicle,
It's okay, it's everything.
Yeah.
Just separated from the other couple things. Okay.
Correct.
All right. So it's right in the middle there. I know it's a little bit small. So the State police basic cost is $317. That's up 1,000. That's up 22,511 from prior year. The emergency special duty is still at 60. The internet didn't change from 2,625, and the supplies didn't change from the $500. So again, total budget request $380,125.
So it's basically a increase based on salaries. Is that something we need to just kind of assume is going to happen every year, or how does that work?
This is Bob. I would assume their contract calls for a certain percentage every year. I don't know that for a fact, but I'd be surprised if it didn't. But also what you're seeing is periodically they get step increases in this coming year. Both of our troopers go up with seniority, go up one step. So that added to whatever their cost of living adjustment would be.
Yeah, and my comment is not because they don't deserve it. It's more just to plan it. Thanks, Bob.
Okay. So anyway.
Yeah, this is Dave. I'll make a motion that we approve 205 police in the amount of $380,125.
I'll second it.
Okay, that was Tim, right?
Please.
Any further discussion? All right, anyone opposed to approving the police budget at $380,125? All right, seeing none, motion passes. Police budget is approved at $380,125. Okay. So this one, Bob, I'm going to need your help with again. Really sure I didn't see on your list as being approved. But I thought you had mentioned that they said a 1% increase. So is that something that the selectmen you're still waiting to approve that one, or?
Yeah, that's correct. By the time I got that information, Joe, and this is Bob speaking, it was after the board. It wasn't in time to incorporate into the Board of Selectmen meeting. I think it was minutes before the meeting began. I got the information.
Okay.
But it did say they still don't have a firm number, but they're certain it's going to be under 1%. So I built 1% into the request. The selectmen will hopefully approve and pass on.
Okay. All right. So that one's still tabled. Just confirm. Okay, we did that one. All right, Public Works. We're still waiting on that one till after our meeting. After the workshops. So ambulance, we're still waiting. Capital, we're still waiting. So I think debt service is the next budget that we can talk about and approve. So that service budget for this year is, the request is $1,295,403, a decrease of $28,645. Basically all in the interest lines. Okay. So we don't really have don't really have any flexibility on this department. Can I get a motion to approve this?
This is Wayne. I'll make a motion, we approve.
This is Mark. I second it.
Right, thank you.
Repeat the total number, please.
It's $1,295,403. All right. Any further discussion? All right. Seeing none. Anyone opposed to approving the debt service budget at $1,295,403? All right, seeing none, motion passes. Debt service budget is approved at $1,295,403. Okay. I think those are the budgets that we have the data to be able to approve tonight. We are still waiting for some information for health insurance and pension and that type of thing. We got some information for pension, which I need to confirm it for one of the plans, and then I know we're still waiting for the health insurance. Normally that one drags into April just to see what the experience rating looks like. As I mentioned earlier, we're kind of building some budget support for the salaries. So those lines, once that's complete, then that will be distributed, and then we can look at each of the budgets. If there were any salary changes, there were some numbers that will need to be updated, and then we will revisit those budgets and reapprove those once we have that data all locked down. And this will be a good tool for us to use going forward, future budgets. It kind of maps out the specifics for each line. A lot of lines are one person, but there are other ones don't have multiple people. So this will give us some better perspective on looking at rates and looking at hours and those type of things. So again, as I mentioned, in what we looked at for the financial reports and what's loaded in the budget as the 2021 budget for salaries is really not 2021, because that salary contingency hasn't been allocated. Again, that will be part of the process. It will be detailed on this budget support that we're working on, so it'll be clear where it went from 20 to 21 to 22. As far as the budget workshop, at this point, I think that it's looking like that's going to need to be postponed. I did finally today get a hold of the head of the ambulance, and he's been out sick for a couple weeks, so he's a little bit behind. So I did ask him for the financial information that we need, and based upon that budget request, I think it's critical that we get the financial information ahead of time, and everyone can look at that before we ask them to come in to talk about it. So I don't see that we will have that enough time from him to get it to everybody to be able to have that discussion this weekend. So I guess I'm gonna say we're gonna have to postpone that workshop until we have the information in hand, and then we can look at scheduling that, hopefully again at the workshop with Public Works, or if need be at a meeting. But at this point, due to the critical need, I think, is to have up-to-date financial information to understand where the request is coming from and what the challenges they have. I think it will be a more productive meeting, because that's going to be our main question, I would expect. So that's all I have related to budget. I don't know if there's any other questions or or comments? I don't know when our next meeting is. Is it next Monday? It is. All right.
Yeah,
So,
the 22nd?
okay. All right. So I'm not sure how much information we're going to have between now and Monday. So potentially have but I'm not sure when your meeting is, Bob. And if we think we're going to have enough information next week to have a meeting, or we need to, push it another week so we can see what we can have. We're only down to a few budgets.
Yeah, this is Bob. Joe, to answer your question, we don't have a Board of Selectmen meeting scheduled yet. And if we schedule, the only thing we have left for us to approve is the Valley Shore right now.
Right. Okay. So you're in the same position. So until we get some more data, I hate to call a meeting to approve one or two budgets. So I think we'll at least cancel the budget workshop, and then the budget meeting for the 22nd, and hopefully we'll have some better information by then. At least then maybe we'll have the salary information and be able to revisit some of those budgets and hopefully fill in a few of the gaps that we haven't got enough information to vote on. All right, does that sound all right to everybody as far as our information flow? Okay, great. All right, public comment? I don't think I see anyone on tonight. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We'll continue to,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
thank you.
I'll second it.
All right.
Who
Great.
seconded
Thanks,
it? I
everyone.
wasn't looking. Who seconded?
Wayne,
Thank you, Wayne.
aye.
All right. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see everybody in a couple weeks, and we'll keep the process moving along.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Night, everybody.
Night.